All right. Okay. Can't stress enough not getting discouraged as you start to learn to paint. Because I know it can be very frustrating and you can feel like you're not good enough, like other people are better, all those kind of things. But just know that your painting is yours and you get to make it however you want. We're gonna take the 2-inch brush. We're gonna try, I don't know, we're still a little bit wet up here on the mountain, but we're gonna go ahead and try and put in some more clouds up here. We're just gonna tap those in. And those go wherever you want. We're just gonna lightly brush that. We're gonna bring that right down over that peak. Little cloud covering that mountain. Just very gently. 3 hairs and some hair. The nice thing about acrylic paint over oil-based paint is that it does dry quicker. Oil-based paint, you can wait days for that stuff to dry and it'll still be sticky. So that's one good thing about this acrylic paint. That and the ease of use and cleanup and all of that stuff's a lot better too. So, okay, we got a few little clouds in there. Just make it your own. You can see there's no wrong color in here. It's whatever you want. Okay, now we better see what we can do about this water situation. With your reflections, you always got to pull straight down into your water, like that. And that's kind of a mess over here, but honestly, that's going to end up getting covered in future steps. So we've got our dark background color here. We've got nice dark background colors here. One thing I do want to show you is that if you, let's say it's early summer, late spring, and you want to put some color on your mountains. Shoot, maybe there's still a little bit of snow around. We can come back and throw some snow on those 2 high peaks. Just easy as that. Some dirty snow. Okay, let's take a little bit more. Run it down here. Shoot, you can even pull it on down like that face. That face over here has got some snow on it, like that. You can probably hear my knife scratching that canvas. I'm just kind of blending some of these lines and things in here with that knife. Because as you put that paint on, it gets kind of thick. So you've got some ridges and stuff in there that you can kind of almost blend and smooth with that knife. Because it doesn't necessarily leave the lines and things that your paintbrush may leave with the point that your paint is dried to. So little trick with the knife. Okay. I'm just realizing that some of those clouds are really blending into the rest of the sky, which the rest of the sky, you know, there's a lot of cloud color and stuff in there, but we just want to highlight some of that. Some of those nice light fluffy clouds hanging around down a little bit lower from that dark storm. Okay. Now we're going to take our 1-inch brush. We're going to mix up some black, some brown, some green. We're going to get into a little bit of yellow, a little more green. Darker green. I wish I had a darker green, but we'll mix some black with green. That'll work. It works just fine. A little more mixing. We're going to put in a little more, got into some brown there. Okay. We're going to put in the indication of some more trees in here. Nice and easy. Just don't worry about making them totally solid. You want to have different colors showing through. Just gives your painting some depth. And this may not show perfect on the camera, but you'll at least get to see the steps that I'm taking. Steps that you can take. Steps that anybody can take really to practice and become better and make a painting that you can be proud of. Okay, we're going to take this knife, and if you don't have a knife, well, I'll show you. You don't have to have a knife, but it comes in handy. We're going to find the edge of that water, just like that. A little more. Okay. So we've just created a bank there of our little body of water. So now let's take a fan brush. Let's get into our dark green, and let's just put in some nice little bushes along the edge of our little lake, little pond here. I'm gonna get some yellow. Mix it in with that dark. Lighten it up just a little bit. We're gonna put that in right along that edge. Just like it. Okay. Now, let's take a brush about that big. Let's get in more black, a little bit of brown. I'm going to come down here. Anywhere you want. We're just going to come like that. We're going to put in our tree trunk. We're going to take our fan brush, and really you can create that trunk with your fan brush. Less brushes, less mess, less cleanup. Okay, and then we're just going to dance that That's that brush back and forth. Just the neatest little way to make a pine tree. Just like that. Maybe he's gonna come up a little taller. Okay. Not too big. He's off in the distance. Shoot, we better give him a friend. Let's bring another one down right there. He's not quite as big, but he's just as pretty. If you get some limbs going the wrong direction, it's okay. I've seen some pretty wild pine trees going every which way, and that's okay. Those are going to come right down to our water line there, our bank. So now we see here that we actually, where we decided to put these trees in, we need to create a reflection in the water. We're going to do another one right there. Heck, let's put some more in. And these can be just very faint indications of some trees. Back here, a little darker. Shoot, they're gonna go clear up on that side hill. That paint, my earlier paint's drying a little bit more, so now it's allowing that to stick on a little better. See how easy it is to make that little forest of trees come to life? We don't want our trees to be lonely. Let's throw in some more back there before we get too far. Those trees coming down like that creates an illusion of a foothill in front of this big mountain. So we picture ourselves up on this big rock and we're looking out and we can see this beautiful little lake here. We've got pine trees off in the distance, even further trees over here. So now we got to think, what do we want to do with this piece of ground we got to work with? And that's really where the fun starts. Because I really love trees. Shoot, let's get that brush right there. We're going to take that 1-inch brush, get into that nice dark brown color that we've created. Now you've got to decide, because you're making a big decision here. But just trust me, this is where the real fun comes in. We're going to come up here. We're going to put in that big old tree. Now you see we've got our layers off in the distance. And now we're going to lay this tree right in the front of everything. Front and center. Coming right down to that big rock we're sitting on right there. Okay, now let's take our 2-inch brush, get into our dark green again. 2-inch brush is just faster than a little fan brush. We're going to come up here and we're just going to start putting in those pine boughs on that big tree. And this tree's a little closer, so you're gonna be able to see the detail on it a lot better than you can the ones off in the distance. And that's okay. That's what we want. Just tip your brush back and forth. Work your way all the way down to the bottom. And if you feel like your branches are too dark down here, don't worry. figure out what to do about that. And we're getting enough paint down there that it's wanting to blend quite a bit. Where we're using our acrylic, sometimes we have to be patient. Sometimes we have to wait for things to dry up a little bit before we can move on to our next step. But for now, let's take a little bit of brown. And I'm just using my knife. If you can see here, when I mix it with my knife, I end up with this marbled look in my paint. I don't know if you can see that. So now I've got that nice marbled look. If I roll that onto my knife like that, it maintains that mixture of color in there. And we're just going to come in here and we're going to put some highlights in that old tree. Just a few. And don't worry, don't think, oh, I got too much paint there. I messed it up. It's not true. Just like a little indication of some trunks in there, highlighting them just a little bit. Okay. The reason why I say it's okay if you feel like you got too much paint, because when you come back, what we're going to do is we're going to take our fan brush like this, and we're going to lighten up some of that green color that we've been using with our yellow. We're going to really lighten it up, and we're going to come in here and we're going to do some highlights. Just like that. We want to have all of the colors. We don't want to cover up too much of our dark. We want that dark showing through to give our picture depth. All of those different colors and shadows and shades and everything play a really important role in our picture and bringing it to life. So we can widen them out a little bit. In fact, go well over here, we're lacking a little bit. We need a little more dark. And we can come back in, fatten him up a little bit, kind of like me. He's a little bigger guy. I like that. Okay. Now what we can do around the base of this tree is we can come in and we just want a nice green color. We want it to stand out from the ground. We want it to be a little different than the tree. And sometimes with acrylics it's hard to get them to show up quite the way you think it should. I'm going to switch to my 2-inch brush and get a little more green. A little more black. The nice thing about this rough 2-inch brush is it gives the illusion of sticks and twigs and branches in our bushes around this tree. Okay. Now we talked earlier about these big pine trees up here, how we need to pull that reflection of them big trees down into the water. We're going to pull it down just like that, and then we're going to go back and forth, and then we're going to remember that we have acrylic paint and we can't expect the same results as we can with oil because it acts totally different. That's okay. We're going to come back in and we're going to kind of redo that water line around there. Just a little indication of some water in there. We can lighten that up. We can do whatever we want. But you can see it gives the indication of a reflection of those trees. Now, I think we need another tree. So I'm going to take this little round tip brush. We're going to go black, some brown. We're going to pull in some yellow. We're just going to mix it up. I'm going to come over here, and I hope my paint will stay in place for me to do this. We'll come up from the bottom. Okay. A little more black in that. Make it a little darker. And that marbled look is good. That looks more natural than a solid color on a tree. So that's good. Now, we're going to take a little pointy brush like that. So we need to find one that's not dried out. There we go. Nice little pointy brush. We're going to roll that in our paint. We're going to pull it through and roll it so it brings it to a nice point. And that's going to let us come up here. We're just going to add some arms on that dude. Just like that. And shoot, maybe he reaches clear out over in here. He'd go wherever we want. Another one down here. Shoot, you might have some coming off the top. Ooh, he got a little big. That's okay. And as I was driving on the mountain today, I noticed a lot of dead trees. Big, strong trees that have been around for a lot of years. And I thought, we just need to have one of those old dead trees that's been around for a long time in our painting. I'm going to take some white and I'm going to come down along that and just highlight. We're just going to light that up just like that. A little bit of highlight. Gotta be careful, you pull your paint right off. Be really light if you've got wet paint underneath. Something like that. Now, let's see. Let's go back to our round tip brush. And we need almost a gray color. Because I thought there's a lot of trees that are just laying down. They've done their time, they lived their life, and now they're laying on the ground. You got some limbs coming off here and there. But they still add beauty. Getting into my color underneath there. Pulling a little bit too hard. Okay. Go down to my smaller brush. Pull some of that dark color off. Get back into my gray. If you don't like any of your branches, it's okay. We can cover them up with something else. Okay, I think I'm going to take that, kind of that same gray color. We're going to come in here, and we're going to start flat. We're going to touch our canvas, and we're just going to curl right around. We're just going to put some boulders in right there. Put one over here. We'll take our knife. We'll just, whoop, we better not use that. We'll use the, I'm just gonna highlight the top a little bit. Just get a little more color on there. Okay, now we're gonna come in with our dark green. And we're just gonna touch up. We need some brush in there. Actually, it's easier with the fan brush. It's easier to be lighter. Put some little doers there. Some little guys in front of our rocks. You never see a rock sitting there without grass growing around it, if it's been there any amount of time. So we're going to come in and we're going to just throw in some grass along there. And you get a little better results if you give your paint a little time between these steps, but for the sake of our video, we'll just get them in there. That tree is laying on a nice, soft bed of grass. Just happy as could be. Okay, now I want to take my, it's probably all dried out. I'm going to get into a little bit of white. I just want to lighten this up a little bit through here. Nice and easy. 3 hairs and some air, as they say. Lighten that up. Okay. Actually, I feel like our little tree here needs another and coming up. And it's okay if your color's not quite right. Just pull some darker color in. And for our lambs, I usually try to use a smaller smaller brush, but sometimes I forget. And this painting's probably about to the point where you decide if you want to keep going or if you want to call it done, call it finished. The tree here, if you were going to have a live tree with leaves and stuff on it, you would basically bring it to this point, and then you would take your 2-inch brush with your green color and you just dab some leaves in on there. But I think I'm going to leave my tree bare just like that, just how he is. But I do think I also want to come in there. I think this guy needs a friend. And sometimes if you're not really liking what's happening in part of your picture, a really easy way to deal with that is to just come in and just throw another tree in. We like doing trees here. Trees are about the favorite thing here. So we'll mix up a little more of that color. Our dark green, black. We'll come in. We'll just give the indication of some branches there. Just like that. Then we'll take our fan brush and pull in some highlights, just like we did on our other. Don't overdo it. Okay, we go back to the dark, put in some bushes right there at the bottom, right along that edge. Sure, we're going to help that out a little bit. A little bit of grass and brush sticking up there in front of that lake. Just like that. Okay, I think with that, we're going to call that one finished. So of course, the most important part of your painting is you got to sign it. So we're going to come in here. Just like that. And thank you for joining us, and I hope that you have enjoyed your time here and that you've learned something, and that you just remember that practice is really what it comes down to improving your painting. And I hope that you've had fun, and we'll see you next time.